So what brought me to DPS, I think, was the need for a ray of light in my life. DPS came at a time when I was thinking about unaliving myself, when I was giving up on life and trying to move forward financially, academically. It was really hard, and I think it came at a time when I needed something new, something to sink my teeth into, something to rejuvenate myself.
Mastering the art of storytelling gives you the power to captivate an audience, drive a narrative, and even influence action. And that is what we hope to see today. In compelling stories, contestants are split up and each team must come up with a 15-minute documentary targeting a topic of their choice. The objective? To raise awareness on a particular issue by appealing to the audience's particular emotion. The successful team would have picked a relevant topic, researched thoroughly, and evoked a clear-cut emotion through visual and audio cues. Sounds easy enough. Contestants, good luck. The contestants have been tasked with what is arguably the most important skill any journalist or producer can have: storytelling. They have picked their topics, sources, and locations and spent the last couple of days piecing their stories together. It's now time to see what they come up with.
Wow. I think it's getting more challenging. It's getting more real. In the beginning, it was all fun and games, I think, but now the reality is dawning and we're feeling the heat. Every challenge is proving to be a challenge indeed. And as you can tell, we're very, very nervous. We've had very few hours of sleep. And I think it's just, we're having a wake-up call now that this is it. We're in it to either win it or go packing.
All right, we can take a look at it.
One Africa, one people. Welcome to On The Find with me, Liman Chileka, where we bring to you real-life stories. In the capital city of Lusaka, we had some chance to talk to young people that are living on the streets. Some of them say it is because they are orphans, others it's because they are vulnerable, and others it is because of the mistreat that they face from the homes where they are coming from. Well, Join me on The Find as we get to hear more from these young people that live on the streets.
This is the town center in Lusaka, the capital city of Zambia. It can be very busy and congested, and one of the contributing factors to the congestion is streetism. What is streetism? Streetism can be defined as living on the streets or being off the streets. Various places in town are home to street kids, but most notoriously the flyover bridges. Under the flyover bridges is where you'll find most street kids, with different stories of why they reside there. We met up with some of them to hear these stories.
Constructed for ease of movement for pedestrians and motorists alike, the flyover bridge in Lusaka has now become home to many street children. We're here to uncover the real reason why these children have decided to make the flyover bridge their place of residence.
Bridge timagona kairi kambaka kwa bati libe manyumba kogona kwa bati ngagone safe then imankara futini challenge futi ogona ma bridge umabopezeka time ya mvula ijeka bwera bridge mankara muloka mpita vimanzi.
Most of these street kids come from broken homes, where they're either neglected or abused by the people they live with at home. Some just run away from home seeking freedom to be unruly.
Life in the street is very hard, more especially sekubakazi. Mapezi kama cases yote yana monga bakushita rape, baza kushita rape, sometimes bakuforcinga, elemanje kumapezi ka bakudamage, baza kupasa mimba pena ngwakukana. Futhi kuti upeze lo vakudya ni vintu vokosa kutika upeze vokudya.
Just pause for me. Is this a real source? She's a street kid? How do you prove that she's a street kid?
We found her right there. She's one of the
Do you know why I've asked? Can you look at her and figure out why I'm asking you?
Because the hair's done.
She's got probably better hairdos than some of you, so...
She goes home and then...
Expensive, that is...
She's part of the ring leaders. She's one of, in their ranks, she's one of the high-ranking ones. So she doesn't even sleep in the streets all the time. She has a baby, so she goes back home and she's in between her home and the streets.
So can you classify her as a street kid? How old is she? She has a baby, she's got a home. So probably there's something she's doing as a ringleader or something.
Yes, so when I spoke to her, like away from the interview, I asked her why she was put together. She was looking put together, but she was on the street. Then she said her biggest reason was because she had created bonds with the people on the street, and also she's addicted to drugs. So because she's always craving for drugs, she's supposed to come back and be with them. Because because she was the only one that was really, really put together.
So there's another story inside the story. I see. Let's continue.
In the bursting hearts of our cities, there lies a hidden world where childhood dreams have been replaced by harsh realities of society. According to UNICEF, over 150 children have now made the streets their home, all lacking basic sanitation and decent jobs. We're in the streets of Lusaka to discover what people are thinking and feeling about this situation.
It's not everyone who wants to be a street kid. It's because of the situations. Kwati kwati bambi bali kwata bashibo kumayanda bachibala butuka pamayanda bamutwale ku skulu ade butuka ku skulu
tayawa mafana upano no peka tayawa mapantu limbinda bush kuwena techu pange na mistake ukubasanga panchu bakuipano kukuipai.
It is the dream of almost every child to one day have a good education, to become a doctor, pilot or journalist among other professions. But these dreams die down as they are not allowed to flourish because they end up becoming street children. In Zambia, most street kids are orphaned at an early age or come from poor backgrounds that cannot help support them. Hence, they end up begging on the streets or taking on odd jobs in order to survive. With no access to any education, they face a lifetime of poverty.
Inasmuch as street kids are a vilified bunch, talking to Mr. Matende opened our eyes to the fact that street kids are just lost souls, looking for a place to fit in the world.
We talk to the children, interview them at individual level, at times at group level, and invite them voluntarily to the center.
Home is where your soul is soothed, where you're helped with your burdens, where you're seen and acknowledged. So to them, the streets became their home because they created family-like communities.
On the other hand, you have kids born in extreme poverty and had no choice but to resort to the streets. But in resorting to the streets, they got exposed to drugs and other criminal activities, hence getting accustomed to the lifestyle. And on the other hand, you have kids born in broken homes. And being born in broken homes meant they had to seek solace in the streets. So before fixing the problem, we have to identify the cause. That's why we're always on the fight.
So, just again, give me an understanding. The task that was given to you was to produce a 15-minute documentary, correct? And that this was supposed to be a compelling story, but a topic of your choice, correct? In the manner in which all 5 of you participated in terms of wanting to obviously take part, did this come out as a program or a documentary?
So initially the decision was we have to give everybody an opportunity to shine on camera. So we didn't want to turn it into a show, but also because we wanted everyone to shine, we were like, each member will get a minute to present something on the different segments that we have, but we have to shy away from being too involved because it has to be a documentary at the end of the day.
Yeah. So I ask this because my understanding of a documentary is that it must be seamless. Nonetheless, I don't mind the documentary having different characters. But just from the opening, Lehman is saying, welcome to the program. That's what you're saying. Welcome to On The Find as a program. So I'm assuming maybe this might be a series for documentaries and so on. But we needed to have it seamless so that we don't seem as if we're having different segments out of the program. But very quickly, some of my because this is a mix of stand-up type of narration where you see an anchor, then there's you narrating throughout, and then finally you close. You close with a very, very important line, and I underlined it. You ask a question here. Let me just refer to it. So in fixing a problem, you first have to find out what the cause is. What was the problem in this particular documentary?
So the problem, basically, like we said, when you go in the streets and you look at street kids, you're thinking they are the problem, but they're just part of the problem. The major problem obviously comes from home. As they say, charity begins at home. So they come from broken homes. Some either come from broken homes or extreme poverty.
So was that established really at the beginning and at the core or throughout to say this is the major problem?
It was established while we were on the streets conducting the shoot and talking to them. That's when we got to realize, because we also had it wrong. We thought, oh, the street kids are the problem. But in talking to them, we realized that it's actually deeper than that. It's more than what the surface gives.
And if you established what the problem was, for example, I hear a figure here, Akim, of 150 million children around the world, according to UNICEF figures. How prevalent is the problem of street kids in Zambia? And what are the figures?
Okay, so like in Zambia, according to our research,
we had to find, according to the National Child's Policy here in Zambia, the figures were about 13,000 to 14,000.
Why didn't we look at the prevalence of the problem in Lusaka? How many kids do we have? And again, I'll come back to the what. Why did we think this story was important? Why should we care?
So initially, as part of our sources, we wanted to, first of all, talk to the children, then go to any organization that is dealing with the situation. I actually called the police spokesperson to try and find out what the police are doing to be able to because in the recent past, there was the mop-up campaign, but he declined to...
Don't tell me what you didn't do. I'm asking
I'm so sorry about that.
Based on what is here, is there a solution to the problem in this document?
Yes, there is. Yes and no.
I feel like there's already a call to action. The call to action is get them off the streets or put them in rehab centers.
Is that what your documentary says?
No, I'm getting to my point. So my point is the call to action already exists.
In your documentary?
No, in the documentary, the main thing the documentary was meant to do is to bring awareness to that. The problem is not the street kids. Because before we have a call to action, we need to know what we're being called to action to do. So the call to action is basically us giving awareness to the people that will be called to action to go to the homes and fix the home. So
the time we spent on really doing vox pops with members of the public, for me, just compounds the ignorance of the problem, that the kids are there, some of them are dangerous, but where are the intervention measures? Do we have a system? Is the system failing? And so when you end the story by asking, before we fix the problem, we find out the cause, but you leave me hanging. So you highlight to me that there are children on the street, some come from broken homes, even the most interesting one, that one has a child, she goes back to her home, she comes back just to abuse the drugs. So there's really nothing working. So I put, the story is left hanging, and unfortunately we need to gauge you on the basis of excellence and professionalism. For such a story, there are so many shows that you can watch. Carte Blanche is one of my favorite that has such formats. Take time to watch that as you're in the competition, because they've got different anchors who can go and do one piece together. So that's unfortunately the level where I was gauging you against for such a format. But good luck, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
One people, one Africa.
Team Iliche have presented a pretty decent documentary. It's time to see if Team Brain Squad can match up.
Firstly, we did our best to spend a lot of time during pre-production to outline how we were going to carry out our research, how we were going to shoot, who we were going to film. And when it came to distributing roles, we went with looking at people who were either close to or had experience with people who had been suffering with poor mental health, or people who had experienced it themselves. So those people who were close to the topic were the forerunners in this, and they were the people that guided us.
Who are these people?
One of them is Matakala.
He seems not to know, because he literally just said, oh. Nama.
Well, instead of me running through the names, it was basically everyone, because it just so happened with the way the teams were distributed that we all had that kind of experience or knowledge.
Who was responsible for the research?
The person that was responsible for it was everybody, honestly. We didn't allocate a research role. We all decided to do research on everything that we had known, and then brought everything together and then started sieving through what we thought was necessary or not.
So why mental health?
Particularly because, as common as a topic as it has become in the world, in Zambia there's a lot of stigma surrounding it. So we wanted to bring that to light and show how impactful the stigma is in recognizing it,
handling the people that suffer from it, treating it, and also our attitude as human beings towards them.
Let's watch.
Globally, almost 800,000 people take their own lives every year. Worryingly enough, 79% of global suicides occur in low and middle income countries, and Zambia is no exception. According to the World Bank's development indicators, the most recent suicide mortality rate recorded was 7.3% per 100,000 population in 2019. But this statistic may not fully capture the extent of mental health challenges in the country.
Over the recent years, what was once considered unusual has become a very disturbingly common headline: suicide. The numbers are staggering and its impact is felt in all walks of life. But one thing that is overlooked is that these were once people that were elegant, functional, and just like anyone else. They had careers, families, and friends. They belonged to communities, contributing members of society. But mental illnesses led them to a point where they could no longer cope, and they were made to be put in facilities that are designed to help them heal, such as rehabilitation centers. Now, mental health is no longer a taboo topic, but the stigma surrounding it persists. We explore the struggles of those affected by it and the challenges they face seeking help. We delve into the stories of those affected by it and the efforts being put in place to break the wall of silence and shame that surrounds this critical issue.
Mental health has long been a topic covered in the shells of misconceptions. However, there exists a dedicated group of professionals that works tirelessly to change this narrative and provide the much-needed support and care to those struggling with mental health challenges. Mr. Moses Gielo is a psychiatrist at the Great North Rehab Center in Lusaka and discusses what mental health issues look like to an average Zambian.
Well, unfortunately, the issue of mental health or mental health problems isn't really seen positively to most average Zambians or to the average Zambian per se. Okay, you'll find mainly it comes with a lot of stigmatization or fear of being stigmatized. So generally, when you look at the statistics, the most recent statistics say that about 20% of the general population in the country is undergoing different health situations or mental health challenges. Okay, 20% from the general population, and out of that 20%, 75% are mainly men. Okay, the male population is undergoing.
That's a very harsh number.
Yeah, it's a harsh number, it really is. And then the remaining 25 is shared by 20%, mostly women, and about 5% children.
Behind these numbers, there are countless individuals dealing with the weight of mental health issues, often in silence and isolation.
My sister was a very wonderful young lady. She was at the age of 23 when she ended her life to suicide. What I can say about my sister was that she was a very compassionate young lady, so loving, so kind, and so caring. Yeah, and she was a fashion designer. I felt like a loser because, you know, I'm out there helping other people, but then it's like I failed my family, I failed my sister. I feel like, I personally feel maybe there's something that I didn't do well. And it also impacted my mom, especially my mother, so bad. Like she was thinking maybe she wronged her in any way, you know, maybe the family has wronged her in any way. So it was just a shock, and we are wondering and asking ourselves, if there was something wrong, why didn't our sister open up and tell us why she wanted to end her life? I've survived 3 suicide attempts. I wanted to end my life because I became suicidal at the age of 10, and at the age of 16, I started attempting suicide.
The dedicated efforts to raise awareness about mental health has made a profound difference in ending the stigma associated with those struggling with mental health challenges. However, there is still much work to be done. The reality is that mental health remains a taboo topic in many Zambian communities, and individuals often face stigma and discrimination when seeking help. This must change. It is our responsibility as members of the Zambian community to stand alongside these experts, to listen, to learn, and to act, we must open our hearts and our minds, shattering the stigma that has held us back for far too long.
That wraps up our second documentary. It's that time for Costa and Jonah to give their feedback as well as observations.
So I'll start from right at the end. I'm very much against the idea of having your guests say last words, because you've got a plan, you know. So just ask them questions and let them answer the questions. What do you have to say to the viewers? Well, I hate to break it to you, but the whole documentary is for the viewers. So when you say, what do you have to say to the viewers? So who do you think has been watching this whole time? So the whole documentary from the start to the finish, when the person is talking in the documentary, they're talking to the viewer. Anyway, they're talking to the viewer, they're talking to the viewer, they're talking to the viewer. So it's a bit, it's not very neat when you do that. Even when you're doing an interview and you say, any last words? Just ask your questions and conclude the interview. But because there was Taona there in this documentary, there was Taona, there was Matakala appearing in there. The introduction of these characters was not well done. In fact, there was no introduction of these characters. We heard a voice, Mike's voice, he's narrating, and then we saw somebody else doing a PTC, and we didn't see them again until the end. So you ask yourself, why did she do the PTC? What relevance was she to the story? Especially because the voiceover is not hers. The person who did the voiceover can present. So why not introduce us? Like, why was she doing that? Then you have Matakala, who's in the cutaways that are building up to the interview, but he's just walking with the guests. We don't know him, you know. So who is this guy walking with the guest and then sitting and then going with the next guest? So the introduction of the characters was not done at all. And it's very important that you introduce who is appearing on the screen. Not saying that now is, but you have to be creative and carry us along so that we understand what is happening. Why are you doing what you're doing? What are you doing, if anything? Then another technical issue there was the interviews that Matakala was doing. So one of the things you don't do, especially in an interview, and worse off in a documentary, is the hummings. So when your guest is talking, let them talk. You don't have, that's why it's very easy. They can see you. So if you're nodding, they can see that you're nodding. But when you start, like now you are becoming a distraction.
In fact, on just that point, I had taken note of sound of the interviewer very low, because at one point I think he
asked a question, an ad-lib or something.
Yeah, that's a should have been an outstanding number or something. But the sound was.
After the break, there is no escape from this one. Don't go anywhere. At this stage of the competition, the contestants have a feel of what is expected of a diamond. It's now up to them to make that jump from theory to practice. For those who delay to take that leap, the end of the road is coming sooner than they think.
Contestants, welcome back to the rooftop for elimination. Last week, 4 of you were eliminated, giving us, you guys, the top 10. The 10 of you were divided into 2 teams, Team Iliche and the Brain Squad. You each had to come up with a 15-minute compelling documentary on a topic of your choice. We've previewed and we've given you feedback on what we thought about the documentaries. One of the outstanding things from both documentaries is the storytelling. And our lesson is that we must always be deliberate with how we tell our stories. You should never leave your viewer behind, and they must consistently be aware of what you are doing. This is what we call good storytelling. Once your viewer begins to wander around and try to figure out what you're trying to communicate, then you're not a good communicator. Because what we were testing is your ability to tell a good story. In broadcast, always remember that you must evoke some kind of emotion. Happiness, empathy, anger, but certainly not boredom.
Thank you. Contestants, well done to those that have made it to the top 10. It all began with 20 of you, 10 are gone, and only half of the initial 20 are remaining. Mark, Emmanuel, it's becoming a habit that we begin to meet in the front line. Next week, it will be so good to see others take the front line or indeed the front row as leaders. After much evaluation, we're going into week 9, and obviously we're eliminating 2 of you today in week 8. Today's decision is obviously a culmination not only of last week's task regarding the documentaries, but also an evaluation of each individual's performance throughout the competition. Since the 2 of you are already in front of me, the last I spoke to you, Mark, I did tell you that I wanted to see you outside of your comfort zone, away from entertainment pieces, away from things that related to music and strictly lifestyle. This week, you were able to get into a position or a role of narrating, but also having to do a piece to camera where you sounded or seemed quite composed, and I loved what I saw, and I hope to see that even more should you stay into the competition. Emmanuel, my feedback to you in the presentation room, you decided to play it safe by always saying I'm the team leader and the brains behind putting everything together. I want to see more of you should you not be eliminated today in terms of what you're able to bring to the table, because this is a competition where we're looking for a presenter and not necessarily somebody who's behind the scenes. With that said, I'd like the following to switch positions. Nelton, swap positions with Emmanuel. Miriam, swap positions with Mark. Mike, swap positions with Taona. Nelton and Miriam, I've asked you to face John and myself because out of this week's tasks, but also following through from your individual presentations, there is a bit of weakness insofar as your presentation and your output on this competition so far. I told you in the presentation room, Nelton, that in the last couple of weeks, I still do not feel your presence. I still cannot put my finger on the fact that you have come here to want to win this. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to talk to us and tell me why I should not be sending you home today.
Silvio, you should not be sending me home today because I am a diamond in the rough. In as much as I have not yet proven to you why I want to win this competition, I am a very versatile person. I am not just here for being a presenter. I am here to include all facets of what a TV presenter is all about. A TV presenter is not all about being in front of the camera, but for me, I can do production, I can do editing, and that's one of the main reasons why I have not really shown you my skill in front of TV. Given another second chance, it would be me coming back a second time, a refined person, proving to you why I am a TV beast that I ought to be and why I am a diamond.
You're a TV beast.
Given a chance, I'll prove that to you, sir.
You're already getting yourself out of the competition. You tell me, given a second chance, I've not eliminated you yet. Which do you think is your strength? Behind the camera or in front of a camera?
My strength lies more behind the camera, but I still want to make it in front of the camera and prove it to you that I'm the diamond that you are looking for.
Miriam.
Yes, sir.
It's been 8 weeks. Congratulations that you've made it into the top 10.
Thank you.
But I still feel that in comparison to those standing behind you, there's something that is missing. Is this all you have to give so far?
No, sir. From the start of this competition, I have been very versatile. I have changed different kinds of presentations, I've done different things, and I've shown to you that I am able to adapt to different situations, and I do not believe this is all I have to give. I have more to give. For me to be here, it's not just any other competition and I want to be into the Diamond TV family. It's more than that. I want to change mindsets. I am here to show people that it's not only the age that determines how great you should be. I mean, look at yourself. You've also made it this far, but you started at a young age. And for me, I have so much to give because I bring my personality to everything I do. And I think I'm a TV personality and people love me for that. Because I know I have a compelling attitude. I have so much charisma. Once I speak, people just ought to listen. And I know this is meant for me. This is meant for me.
How come we have not seen that yet?
So I've been bringing on my A game. I'm bringing on my best. It's just unfortunate. I don't know why, but I know this is for me because I came here prepared mentally, physically, everything. I've been prepared for this. This is my dream and I'm here to make it happen. I did not come all the way from Livingston just to go back the same and with the same title. I came here to make my name. I don't want to go back the same. And I know I have so much to give to you. Maybe it's just because the space in which I'm usually found in that I'm not giving you the thing that you expect to see from me, but I am versatile. And I've shown it from the start of this competition. I've been doing different things. I'm not stuck up to one thing. I'm not in my comfort zone. I'm adaptive.
Tell me why I should send him home and make you stay.
Okay. Why you should not send me home and should send him
Why
home?
it should be him and not you?
Okay, no hard feelings, but I am adaptive, like I said, and I'm open-minded. Nelton is usually like in one space. He doesn't want to break out of his shell, but I have shown my potential in that regard. And I am more of a team player. I don't know much in terms of the other teams he's been in, but I can say I'm much of a team player because I would be doing different tasks, but I would make sure everything happens from the editing, even if I'm not doing the editing myself, but I make sure I stay up late and looking at everything that happens, and from the scripts and everything, I always make sure everything works out. But for Nelton, sorry Nelton, I don't feel that he's what I am, because I'm so thirsty and hungry for this.
Mr. TV Beast, I'm told you don't have what it takes for you to take this to the next level. Why should we keep you and send her home?
I'm really sorry, Miriam, but CVO, you should keep me and send Miriam home because she says she's versatile. Miriam lacks in terms of production. But for me, my versatility lies in production and also being in front of TV. What I haven't shown to you is my peak in terms of being in front of the camera. But in terms of production, I am better than Miriam, and also in front of TV, I'm also better than Miriam. Given all these facets, I'm a diamond that you are looking for. I'm more than a team player than Miriam. I make sure to say all my teams that I'm found in, I complete all my duties given to me. Either being a TV presenter, a researcher, that I am more than Miriam, a director, and also assisting in being a producer as well. I don't know if Miriam's versatility lies in all these facets that a diamond you are looking for is placed at.
Well, thank you so much for those very moving, some compelling mitigation there. We have a TV beast, Mr. TV Beast.
Congratulations.
Miriam, exchange positions with Rachel. Lehman, come to the front and exchange positions with Nelton.
kindly step up. I've called the three of you to the front because you're in the top 10, but this should not guarantee you any safety. Rachel, I've always spoken about the fact that you bring to the table a lot of confidence, a lot of boldness, and a lot of maturity. But a diamond must also be able to show how diverse and how competent they are in terms of multitasking. We've just heard of somebody's ability to say they're versatile. In the last couple of weeks, we've been able to see you do some commendable work in front of camera. I'm not so sure, Rachel, how strong you are behind the camera, researching, producing, and really holding your own outside of a team. Just take note that I'm watching. I am watching. So don't consider yourself to be very comfortable.
Looking at my age, I don't have the luxury of time to start navigating between this and that. This is the one thing I've set my eyes on, and for the remaining days of my life, this is something I want to do. And this is why I come in here open-minded to learn the different things, because I have never worked for Diamond TV. There's a way that things are done. I am not a seasoned broadcaster. There's so many things that I would like to learn. And so this is the reason why I had to let go of even my job. I had to quit my job to get here because this is something I want. I want to be that broadcaster to be reckoned with. Yes, I've had issues, people telling me about how old I am, but what if I have 80 years to life?
What does age have to do with you being good at what you do?
First of all, I am good at what
Are you playing the age card?
No. I'm not playing the age card with this, because what I'm trying to understand is that the magnitude of the how important this situation is to me, that I had to forgo anything else that I thought was important to me to join this competition. Despite the fact that people would look over and be like, what is she doing? I had to, because there's been so many things in the background, the discouragement and everything, but I had to step out because this is the one thing I want to do and I'm here to get it.
Miriam, you've got something to say about age? I see you shaking your head. You've got something to say?
Age has nothing to do with what you achieve, what you are going to achieve, when you achieve it. It all depends with the willingness in you, the determination to want to do what you want to do. It doesn't matter how old you are. Even if you're 90 years, you can still be whatever you want to be. And plus, also looking at the fact of laying aside some things in order to be here. We've also done it. I mean, I've done it. I laid down an opportunity to have a free learning session.
How old are you?
18.
And are you using age?
No.
And you feel you can compete amongst the best?
Yes.
So let's be very clear, guys. No matter how old you are, we're not looking for your age, we're looking for what you bring to the table. We're looking for your skill, we're looking for your talent, we're looking for your excellence. And like we always say, it's not just about the rough. This is season 5. Many of you have an opportunity to watch this show. And when you come through, we expect that you're giving it your all. Mr. Liman Ntani Chileka, let's hear from you. You've come into this show giving us this very animated type of character that has this sort of presentation skill, but again, I see the same thing day in, day after. It's like you're only good at delivering such type of pieces. There's nothing more to it than what we've seen so far. Why should we keep you in the competition?
Well, first and foremost, why you should keep me in the competition. I'm going to quote from what you said earlier when we just stood here in the first place, CVO. You said this journey is going to be rough, and we've come here raw. And first and foremost, in the first place, I strongly believe on my side, yes, I came here raw, but along the way, I've been polished and I'm still getting polished. I know I'm not here, this is not kindergarten, this is serious business. We are here for serious business, that much I know. And of which, the Lakson Intani thing, I feel, I sat down, CVO, Mr. Buyo, like I sat down, then I thought to say, why am I coming out like this? But I noticed one thing, I think that is just my vibe. Maybe we just have the similar vibe. Because I've tried by all possible means to come out as natural as I can. And that is the natural Liman. If you can have maybe some time, I know we've never had time to have a conversation, whereby for more than 10 or 5 minutes, that's the way I come out. People that have interacted with me can surely attest to that.
Nothing against that. But then beyond this storytelling style, is there anything else that you're better at other than current affairs or news reporting style of presenting? Because I haven't seen that.
Yes, entertainment, I can also do entertainment as well. It's just that I feel of late the assignments that we've been given, we've not been given an assignment that is based about entertainment apart from the covers. And of which the covers is because I'm one of the people who did not show an appearance. We only had Penelope Chindolo as our presenter. So like when TV comes to entertainment, I can also do that. I adapt. I switch. I can switch. Entertainment, current affairs, sports, I can do that. I switch.
I see. Well, contestants, we need to come to that moment when we make a decision. Nelton, kindly step up and stand behind Mike. Miriam, kindly step up and switch places with Rachel. Miriam, Mike, Lehman, Nelton, the four of you are up for elimination. Akeem, I haven't said much about you today. Again, I keep on telling Jonah, there's something so likable about you. But like I told you in the last session, you still are not convincing me that you're bringing your A game. I can feel some potential, but that does not guarantee you that you stay long in this competition if you keep on giving the same attitude and the same amount of energy. You're not up for elimination, but I guarantee you that you're standing on very thin ground. You're trading on very thin ice. Pull up your socks, and I hope that we'll see change next week. Lehman, who among Nelton, Mike, and Miriam should I be sending home, and why not you?
I feel you should send Mike home, not me. Reason being, I have the A game in this competition, and I feel he doesn't have that face for television, the zeal. I feel he's not really hungry for this. He's not really hungry for this. Because what I believe is when we come for this competition, we're supposed to bring in innovation, creativity, and our very best.
And he has not?
I feel he has not. To be honest with my side.
Justify which specific tasks do you think Mike has not brought in his A game?
There was a time that we had an assignment of the Zambia Kuchalo program, the Zambia Kuchalo assignment, so to say. And the way they were fighting for the camera with Wukata here and there, I was like, hey, this is not TV. You can't fight for the camera. You need to create that. The conversation should flow with your co-host. You interact and then you face the camera, not all the time like you want to be on the camera.
Mike, you don't have the face for TV. You don't have the innovation. You don't have the. In short, this gentleman is saying a taka-taka presenter. That's what he's saying. Let's hear your comeback.
Well, that was very attentive. So I did.
It's a competition. The gentleman has his own opinion. Who among the four of you, apart from yourself, should you recommend I send home, and why?
Well, once bitten, twice shy. So I think if he came on attacking, I think he's the best person to go. Even he has already created that, and owing to the fact that you have been stressing out the fact that he doesn't have the originality in him, he sounds like someone that we already know in the media space. So owing to that, if this is a competition, I doubt if there is a chance for him to actually get to grow and find his true self and not give us a picture of someone that we already know who exists somewhere in this particular same field. So I think he's the better person to go.
We cannot go on and on seeing people defend and attack themselves. At a point, I have to make a decision. And the two people that I'm sending home this week, unfortunately, are Nelton and Lehman. Your road on the Diamond TV Presenter Search Season 5 ends here. All the best, colleagues. To the top 8, take what I've said to you very seriously.
This elimination leaves us with the top 8. The competition is getting even stiffer. Let's see what the next task is.
Contestants, welcome to the top 8. This week, we get sporty. You will form one team, and you must give us a 24-minute sports show. It must be unconventional, creative, but above all, keep us hooked for 24 minutes. Is that clear? Yes. Let's get sporty.
All the best.